Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for having us here. My name is Jen Joy Roybal. I'm with Searchlight.art. We are a global collective showcasing artists on the blockchain for the last couple of years. I am very excited to talk to the artists here today. Many of you know who they are. They are pillars in our community as artists and creatives. What we're going to do, because we have limited time, is they're going to introduce themselves as we answer the question, okay? And just an orientating thing, I really appreciated the conversations that kicked off this event, and I just want to emphasize that these artists are minting with Santa Fe NFT and are minting on the blockchain, and we like to think of this as introducing you guys into the rabbit hole. So it's very, very top level surface stuff, but it's a really fun journey to go down, and part of what we want to do today is invite you into this world.
Welcome to the rabbit hole.
Dun, dun, dun. So I'm going to start off with Joel Nakamura. Welcome, Joel. So many artists are exploring different platforms and blockchains for their digital art. Could you discuss your choice to work with Santa Fe NFT and what gets you excited about what's coming next for your work? And talk a little bit about where you've come from as well.
Well, getting involved with Santa Fe NFT was kind of the serendipity that happens here in Santa Fe, that I happened to talk to Jeff at the donut shop. And so we've been talking about NFTs for a while, and finally decided I want to get involved in that because my artwork is out in the kind of now-verse, but not the metaverse. So I want to kind of make that transition. And so I painted a collection of images called Teratoid Muse. And there's about 28 of them, and we're going to select them, which ones are going to actually make it into the NFT collection. So I'm kind of brand new to this, and I'm a little overwhelmed by all the different vocabulary involved with NFTs in the NFT world. But I'm excited to make this leap down the rabbit hole and see where it goes.
Wonderful, thank you. And I just want to mention Joel will be airdropping artwork as part of the NFT with Santa Fe NFT. So keep that in mind. You'll get an artwork with your first experience. I'm going to go on to Joerael. Hi.
Hello, everybody.
So introduce yourself and tell us how minting on the blockchain has changed the way you approach your creative process and how you connect with audiences differently now.
Okay. So I've done a lot of murals around Santa Fe. I'm a muralist. I was an artist in residence at the Santa Fe Institute. I painted the Sky Railway train, that big dragon thing that you see running through the rail yard. I live in Albuquerque now. I'm originally from West Texas. I'm one of those guys, one of the boogeymans. But anyways, to answer your question, as far as NFTs go and the blockchain, it's been a slow process of like watching and experimenting, formulating some ideas around musical murals and maybe an ambient camp out. I have some ideas with utilities. I think that's a really important aspect of using our artwork and the assets into a way that people can utilize to access more experiences and also meaning and depth in the art. A lot of times we look at art as a commodity, right? Like it's an asset and it's worth this much. You want to collect it, resell it, an investment. But really the biggest part of art is the part that speaks to our souls and heart and our deeper psyche of the interconnection, or the narrative aspect that cultivates empathy and compassion. And when you can reach that point and then integrate it into a place of utility, into a deeper experience and unlock further meaning, I think that is a way to like really utilize this technology. It's still new to me in the way of how I'm going to do that. I'm still formulating it and just watching it, but that's about all that I can share at the moment. But it is a very exciting, and I'm very blessed that Jeff and Carrie brought me on to do the design for the Santa Fe NFT and to work with all these artists and friends. And all of you, thank you for coming and being here and listening to us talk. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And utility is a big word that we throw around, and it's a really interesting opportunity for artists, for the uninitiated, to engage your audience by gamifying some of the things that you do with your work. And that's another kind of exploratory thing to do when you go back to your house and look at Santa Fe NFT. I'm going to talk to Stacey. Stacey Sullivan de Maldonado. Beautiful work. Has done a lot of Dia de los Muertos style. Has done work in partnership with Keenan, Jeff, and Carrie. Question for you is, of course, introduce yourself, but also tell us about your journey as an artist in the NFT space, and with Santa Fe NFT in particular. What inspired you to include this in your practice, and have things changed as a result?
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here with my fellow artists and all of you. This has been an incredible journey that I'm just embarking into, really, but have already had so many amazing developments to my art, and my experience has been opened up as an artist due to onboarding with Santa Fe NFT and getting to learn about Web3. I have been for almost 20 years a artist illustrator here in Santa Fe. So very IRL, very, doing, logos and commissions and, paintings in, the traditional old-fashioned sense. And when Jeff and Carrie approached me about this opportunity, which I see as a major opportunity, to onboard with this Web3 space and move some of my work into a digital asset version, there were so many elements that I thought, wow, that have never been available to us as artists before. And right now, up to this point, the people that find my work, collect my work, people I end up working for as well as a hired, artist, they're people that either live here or come here, travel here. There's very little international, exposure. And I realize that not everyone that I feel could connect with my work, or I could connect with them as well, will ever have that opportunity to come here. And I think that we're really limiting ourselves to think that what we've done up till now is the only way to do things. And I, as an artist as well, I always want to make sure I'm not getting too comfortable in what I'm doing. I think that comfortable leads to artistic complacency, and that's not somewhere that I want to be. So that's accessibility is just one big element that I saw as like, wow, this is like a major opportunity. I really want to see where I can take this. As well, through these years of working here, I've had a lot of artists confess to me that they have not ever been able to find an audience for their work here in Santa Fe. Like Santa Fe, brings us in as artists, but not everybody has a following or an audience, or really finds that niche that I believe that their work deserves. And so as much as I want my work to succeed on this platform, I want to see this almost create a model for like other artists to be able to follow. Like other artists I know do incredible work, but they just haven't found their audience yet, and their audience hasn't found them. So yeah, that's been a big one for me.
I love that you mentioned that, and the decentralization nature of the technology and the capacity to reach to other eyeballs all over the world has kind of blown our minds, I think. And so being able to work with collectors or artists from other places, other cultures, has just been mind-blowing in the last few years as a result. I'm going to go over to Pop Lazarus. Thanks for being here, Pop. So NFTs have brought the concept of ownership and provenance to digital art. Could you share your thoughts on the significance of blockchain technology for artists and collectors now and into the future?
All right. So I started out as a painter, and about a year ago, I ended up meeting somebody who is one of the top artists in the NFT space. His name's Threesomes, and he told me to get into NFTs, and I had heard about it and kind of been interested in it, but it had been kind of on the back burner for me. But when he talked to me about all the possibilities that are available with NFTs, it got me interested. So I've been doing NFTs on Tezos for the last year or so, and it's been a really rewarding experience for me because before this, I've pretty much only been selling my art in galleries and kind of the traditional way. And the thing about galleries is a lot of times they kind of put a wall between you and your collectors, so you don't necessarily get to know the people that are interested in your art. And that's very different with NFTs. And that's one of the things that I've enjoyed the most about getting into the NFT space is that the collectors and the artists are able to communicate a lot more, and you're able to get to know the people that are interested in your art, and they're able to get to know you. And so part of the advantage of being in the NFT space is that whether you're an artist or you're a collector, you end up getting access that you wouldn't normally get, where if somebody buys my stuff and they decide, they want to ask me a question, it's very easy for them to reach out to me. And because of that, I've been able to get to know some of my collectors. And it's also been interesting because of where they come from, because I lived in the US for most of my life, and being on NFTs, I was able to get people that were in Canada and people in Australia and people in South America interested in my art. And without this technology, there's no way that I think I would have been able to connect with these people. The other thing that I think is a big advantage with the blockchain is that you are able to kind of gamify your art in a way that allows you to kind of get into the psychology and into the head of the people that are collecting. So you can you can make challenges for them where they might need to buy a piece and then be willing to burn it to get another piece. And so you start to see which pieces your collectors feel are more important than others, and you kind of get to get almost under their skin a little bit and get to understand a lot more about which parts of your art are connecting with people. And also it's just fun to be able to take your art and turn it into a little bit of a game and see how people end up playing it, because I feel in a lot of ways it can be a little bit surprising, and it's just, I don't know, I've enjoyed it a lot. So I think the main thing for artists, or the main advantage for artists, is just being able to connect with people. And I think the NFT technology allows us to connect on on a large scale, which is really nice. And also on deeper levels, because it's so much easier to make friends with fellow artists that are on the blockchain, which you may never have met otherwise because they're all scattered across the world, and then also to be able to communicate with people across the world about your art. So that's what I've really enjoyed with the blockchain and with delving into the NFT world.
Thank you for that. So decentralizing the gatekeepers of the typical art world, meeting new people, the game mechanics that you can create with your work, with your creative processes can be really exciting. I love that you brought those things up. Just also for the uninitiated who are just artists, if you just want to have a certificate of authenticity for your work, this is a great way to have your legacy archived for life, forever, and transferred down into your family, which is kind of important for some artists who don't get to see their families actually benefit from the work. I'm going to come back to you, Joerael. Let's see. You have some upcoming projects with Santa Fe NFT. What are some unique challenges and opportunities you've encountered while navigating this process, and what are you most excited about?
All right. So the one project I'm excited about that is very beta is I want to do create the world's first mural album, which is a decentralized IRL mural, maybe geolocation or image recognition technology. But in order to get the songs or the NFTs, you actually have to visit the murals. Right, and it's like there is a musician I'm talking to, but I don't want to say their name at the moment. But it would be like base their song off after the images, and I would base the images after a song, and just take somewhere like New York City. This isn't where it would happen. I have no idea. Maybe it's just Route 66 or something. But say like you visit the 5 boroughs in New York and it's an EP, right? But in order to get to each place or to get each song or NFT, you actually have to visit the location. From that point, utilizing the technology and what is also called gamification, I don't have a word for it, but I have another feeling that there is a word that needs to be invented. But almost an image map of the content of the mural. So you would like unlock the NFT, the song, you end up collecting the whole album, and then there might be an image of some like environmental activists, right? And then from that NFT, you unlock the story behind that. From that, you can like expand into something really heady, like other remixes of the song from other artists, other remixes of other artists from this like environmental activist portrait or whatever it is. It's pretty endless, but that's one thing I'm very excited about that I'm kind of like playing with. But yeah, I know that hasn't been done yet, and I also know that Santa Fe NFT would be a really great platform to utilize that technology and work on that. Other than that, I just do want to do a little self-promotion. If y'all haven't seen my other artwork, I do have a show up in Taos at Revolt Gallery right now that's up for a month. It's called Lancester. And what I was speaking to with each piece, it's also a little bit of the thread of the mural. It's probably like a beta testing of the images and the content that I would like to work with. So I just want to throw that out there for you guys.
Well, I think that's great because I also want to encourage everybody to go to santafenft.io/artists, and you can see the work. It's amazing. You can just go into different worlds with each of your work. It's fantastic. I'm going to go to you, Joelle. There is a certain bent as far as the look and feel of artwork in the NFT space and crypto. And I think it has to do with the early adopters and their kind of tastes. You've been working for years. You work on paper. You hammer out tin. Can you talk to us about this reconciling between your traditional mark making and hand created work and how you can see, connecting that with the blockchain or digital work? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because so many of us just work with regular tactile things.
Well, I'm an old-fashioned analog artist, and that's what I know how to do. So the collection has been painted, and now we're going to feed it into the AI or whatever we're going to do and see where it goes. But I'm not a digital artist, so what I have found is that a lot of the NFTs I have viewed have kind of a visual aesthetic to them because they're digitally created, and they kind of all look very similar in some ways. So the fact that I started with hand-done paintings, I think, will help separate visually, or the aesthetic of it, a little bit. And so my understanding is the blockchain, as artists, we're not the most organized people, are we? You know, so trying to keep track of everything and who's buying what or who does what, the blockchain supposedly takes care of that for us, and we'll track that, and you know, funds will show up in your digital wallet kind of magically, and that's my understanding. Although I haven't minted the NFT collection yet, so this is all new to me. But I'm very excited about participating in something new, like a new art movement almost, that, you know, all of us here and you guys are all going to be part of this. And who knows where it will go and what it'll do. But, you know, creating art by hand is what I know. And so eventually I'll probably get more digital skills by just working with this medium. So I guess
I think you answered the question really well, and I'm looking at all of you guys, and I think of your work, Joel, and the deep narratives that happen in their work. There's something about these, how important storytelling is, how important narrative is in your regular work, and then translating that with this new technology, I think, is a common thread. Also, you mentioned the journey that you're taking people on. So as you become a collector, what artists are really doing, and musicians and creatives are really doing, is they're inviting you on a journey in a way that no gallery could ever do for you. And I think I want to emphasize that because I think you expressed that really well. I'm going to go to you, Stacey, because you do the physical digital stuff. You've been experimenting with that, and I'd love for people to hear, what is that? Why do you do it? Why do we care? And maybe talk a little bit about like the commerce piece of this that I think is super interesting.
Well, I think I want to touch a little bit on what Joel was saying too, that basically the way he creates his work isn't changing. He's bringing his work that is already spectacular to another audience by utilizing Web3 and digital assets. And that's very similar to what I'm doing. Also, along the way, my son got as super excited as I did about this whole new platform. And he decided, hey, we need to add some animation, you know, to your characters. And there's been a lot of years I've been doing this work, all revolved around the skeleton, and, you know, have a major affinity for Day of the Dead and the skeleton that unites us all. It's a major symbol and message in my work. And all through these years, I've had so many moments when people would say, hey, wouldn't it be so awesome to see your characters move? But I never had an application for it. And suddenly, we had an application for it. Yeah. We have an NFT project to build. So this has been a lot of fun. He got right into it. He's 18 now, by the way. He just turned 18 a few days ago. He wanted to be here, but it's 21 and up, so unfortunately he couldn't be here today. Or he could talk better about this project than I can. These are the builders, actually, that are in our world today, very young people. Yeah, like I said, he got right into it. I have a project that will be launching this Day of the Dead. It's going to be a 999 limited edition NFT collection called In Love to the Bone. Like I mentioned, there's going to be traditional elements, the type of work that people have been used to seeing from me, and then there's also going to be enlivened editions, which, you know, came forward because of the very awesome innovation that my son has brought along. There's also going to be a spirited tier where there are spirit animals that show up, and those are going to, create the rare editions of this collection. This is a lot of fun because it's also, like you said, there's a lot of story already in our work. We've made a career doing this because we really believe in what we're doing. We're working with subject matter that's, really precious and really sacred to our hearts. Now we have an opportunity to bring it further, is the way that I'm looking at this. This NFT, this digital assets, this Web3 movement. And of course, there's so many other elements we could talk about, but we have limited time. But yeah, so we're all here just to share, just to bring our work that much further out in the world, to push that whole concept that, artists are meant to make a living. We actually are here to do what we do, nobody should be struggling. Nobody should be living under the stigma of a starving artist when, everybody else gets paid for what they do. You know what I mean? So, hey, we're here to do that as well. And I hope that through this, mechanism, this tool of Web3, it's going to shine a light even more on this industry that has been so, kept under other people's thumbs for so long. I've been fortunate. I have, been able to make a living, full-time living for 20 years doing my art. And, but I do a lot of different things to make that work. I do illustration. I, do commissions. So many things. But, I hear so much that so many other people haven't been able to find a way to do that. And I really think that right now, this whole movement with technology, and if we use it, in this positive, progressive way, it can help so many people to, find their audience, find their voice, find their footing. And, and I think the whole world is going to benefit from it in a major way.
I love that, and I'm glad you brought that up because I think that's an important part of the ethos of the movement. Sovereignty and financial sovereignty, leveraging the crypto technology, Web3 technology for that, and something that kind of flipping the script on what we're used to. And I want to do a time check. I just want to make sure I'm not holding back on some of the other artists. I think we're okay. We have one last question. We're going to land this plane with you, Pop Lazarus. Yes, okay. So I want to make sure I said that right. So you have we talked about gamification. We talked about, game mechanics. Can you share a little bit about what's coming up for you with Santa Fe NFT to the extent that you're not giving it away? Is that possible to sort of share kind of a little bit of the thinking there? Because I think it would be interesting to hear how that process is thought through, and then maybe inviting people to actually participate in that would be kind of cool too. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I did want to circle back real quick when Joel was talking about how his art is mostly traditional and he's doing it by hand. I thought that was interesting because, even though I'm working in digital animation, I like to start by drawing by hand too, and I feel like with a lot of this stuff, there's a lot of pressure to involve as much technology as you can, and there's so much talking about the technology and about how the new technology is important and everything. But the real thing is that it's all about making connections, and that's what I have found most rewarding about this. The NFT world. And the other thing is that there's no rules. So if you decide, if you're an artist and you're interested in getting into it, you don't necessarily have to do everything on the computer. You're free to do, paintings and any kind of traditional art, and there's a way to get that out there. And the real difference is that when you're buying art from a traditional gallery, you're buying something that you can hang in your home, and it's something that makes your life a little bit more beautiful, and it makes your environment a little bit nicer. And that's a great thing. But when you buy an NFT, you're opening up a relationship, and you're opening up a connection where you can actually get to know the artist. And talking a little bit about the gamification, you get to play games that the artists are coming up with. And for me as a creative person, I enjoy making my art a lot, but to be able to make art and then turn it into a game and then see how people play the game is very rewarding. And so I think with this whole event that we're having tonight, the question that's posed to you as the audience is, with all this, with this new opportunity and a new way to connect with artists, do you want to get to know us as artists more? And do you want to get into our world more? Or do you feel satisfied with just being able to buy stuff and hang it on your wall? And so I think when it comes to NFTs and why it's like a new thing and why it's exciting, it's really about inviting artists into your world, and then us inviting you into our world. And so if you're interested and you've heard from all of us here and you want to get to know us more and about our process and how we do things, then I just want to invite you to come on board with us.
I think we can end it there. Brilliant. I love that. Did you want, if you have a response, please.
I just want to wrap off you a little bit. So I work with a lot of collectors and museums moving art and handling it. And one thing that, speaking to the question he posed to y'all, right, is when I do my research and I'm out there in the field, at museums or collectors' homes, and, I always look around and I'm like, why do they have this? What is the deal? Or there's people very specific with their collections, right? And really what I come to is collectors are also highly creative, right? Maybe they don't create something, but their creation is within their collection and it's a reflection of themselves. Right, and I'm being super truthful and honest, and it's something I've really seen. And part of it too is once we release something into the world that we've created, it's also your story, it's your history, it's part of you. It's like we all drink the same water, we live on this earth, we live on the land. And that whatever that you create beyond the commodity, whatever it's worth, but the intrinsic value, the meaning, it is also a part of you and it is your story, right? And it's a reflection of what it is that you have attached yourself to and the way you speak to it about with your friends, with your family, with your community. And I always find that really fascinating and beautiful, and also just, again, thank you for being here and collecting or being interested. Thank you.
Awesome. If anybody has last comments, I think we're going to pass it back to Jeff or Carrie. Thanks for having us, everybody. Please go to santafenft.io, check out the artists, get your mint pass, collect their work, support these artists. It's not just a short-term thing. It's very much a lifetime thing and a generational thing. So thanks a lot.
I also have some prints at the merch table if you want to buy some.